Hello, it is Sunday, June 12th, 2022. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It is a Sunday puzzle today, so a large grid and a titled crossword at that. But yes, mainly a very big crossword. And so it may take a while. Well, I guess you'll know better than I based on the length of the video. Anyway, this long, large grid has been brought to us by David Innes, Henrik Koskinen, and, as always, the inestimable Hood Monster and the invaluable Timothy Mark. So thank you so much to the four of them, benefactors of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign, for directly supporting this channel and bringing us this edition of the Daily Solve. And if you'd like to become a patron and receive access to all of the bonus videos that have gone up on the Patreon channel to date, as well as the new ones that go up each week, you can find that at patreon.com/dailysolve. And there's a link, of course, in the description field underneath the video as well. What has gone up recently? The strangest puzzle the New York Times publishes, as far as I'm concerned, the puns and anagrams crossword, which is a sort of like a cryptic crossword, but different and sort of sillier. Anyway, that's I solved that because there was an error in recording my weekly mini speed solve, so you can enjoy that if you're a patron. And what else? You can join the Daily Solve Discord chat server for free, of course. There's a link in the description field underneath the video, and you can spend time with other members of the Daily Solve viewing community and also solve their crosswords. Reminds me I should record a new edition of the Constructor's Corner series for the Patreon, in which I solve community-created crosswords from that very Discord server. Anyway, all of these things are available, and do subscribe to the channel if you've been enjoying this. But we should get on to the Sunday puzzle, because it is long, and we should give ourselves all the time we have. As all Sunday puzzles, and only Sunday puzzles, I think, for the most part, this crossword has a title, and this one is named, "Didn't We Just Have This?" It was constructed by Will Nediger, who's an experienced New York Times crossword constructor with several dozen credits to his name, and edited by another Will Shorts, as always. When I first saw this, "Didn't We Just Have This?" when I was loading up the page, I thought maybe that refers to a theme from a recent puzzle, but then I thought, no, that would be very unlikely to have that kind of meta reference. It probably means something will be doubled or happen twice or something like that in this crossword, but we'll have to see. Anyway, are we ready to start solving? I say so, yes. Poses, could be acts, maybe? Sam with 82 PGA Tour wins. I think I've seen this, actually. Speaking of crosswords referring to one another, I think I've seen this in other crosswords. Sam Snead, maybe? Is there any way that's right? Let's see. Doohickey. A thing? I mean, thing is sort of, it's more ordinary than doohickey. Doohickey, I would almost expect thingy, for instance, but that wouldn't fit. Unless there's a rebus, I suppose, which there could be. Transport in a Billy Strayhorn standard. Oh, Take the A Train jazz standard. So maybe this is simply thing, doohickey. And sorry, I just noticed argument extender, reference 18 across is the clue for 27 across here. Argument extender, reference. That's interesting that it says reference 18 across. What does that mean? I suppose because it doesn't say with 18 across or as in 18 across or something like that. So there's some other way in which it's related, which we'll have to determine based on the theme. Scottish refusal could be nay. N-A-E. Showrunner rhymes. So showrunner, the person on a television series who keeps the whole thing going, who runs it. Shonda Rhimes is one of the most famous showrunners in modern television. Poses. Oh, interesting. Well, that was surprising. Now, what would this mean? Oh, I'm confused now. Poses. Am I missing something? Is there something obvious about what this could be, or Oh, I guess it's poses a question, asks a question. Sorry, I was wondering, I was so focused on poses being an act or something like that it just didn't even occur to me that I could consider different different meaning, different senses of the word poses. Okay, so poses a question, ask a question. I thought maybe something fishy was going on there with the theme perhaps, but no, I don't think so. So this looks like kiddie pool. Okay, that's straightforward enough. And a contest with a lot of tied scores is a rodeo. Argument extender. Oh, and another thing. Oh, so we've used the thing again. There we go. There's the theme. I see. So this actually is the sort of theme that might make the puzzle considerably easier to solve, because if this pattern follows throughout the grid, then we're going to get a free word essentially if we've already solved the reference word. Okay, well we'll see how that goes. Terse denial. I didn't. That'll be a terse denial. Never Gonna Give You Up, a Rick Astley song famously used to troll people. Useless could be, I don't know. Focused on the bullseye. Aimed? You focused on the bullseye, you aimed. Useless. Oh, otiose. I see. Okay. So sort of sitting around achieving nothing, otiose, useless. Lay it on thick. And a pledge. A pledge or to pledge. And a political unit of ancient Hawaii. Oh, interesting. Wonder if I'll recognize that when we fill it in. Highly unconventional. Outre? What seat selection on an airplane often comes with a fee these days? Prefix with medicine. Tech medicine doesn't really sound like anything. Sorry, this seems like it should be obvious. What is this? Teen medicine? I don't know. Sector for many startups. Well, maybe that's tech, since I couldn't put tech down there. Drive around. Tote around, or industry show. Could be an expo, an exposition. Body part that humans have that other primates don't. Oh. And what is this? Durable leather. Durable leather. And give a take. Well, a take, especially these days, is used to mean an opinion. So to give one would be to opine. Donut similar to an eclair. An eclair is sort of a long, thin, filled pastry. Donut. Long, maybe it's long something? To drive around, to tool around? I suppose that just means to sort of rove, to tool around. Not sure. So if this were long, body parts, oh, chin. What? Do apes and creatures like that not have chins? Am I missing something here? Oh, it looks like chin, doesn't it? Durable leather oxhide. Strange. I'll have to determine the precise anatomical definition of a chin, I suppose. Eerily familiar feeling. Deja vu. Very appropriate to this puzzle. Oh, and in fact, it fits that in itself, in addition. Oops, I spelled that incorrectly, sorry. What did I do? I spelled this utter deja vu. There we go. Sorry, maybe I spelled it right the first time. I don't remember. Anyway, so that in itself is part of our a theme answer here. The classic Yogi Berra quote. Yogi Berra being the famous baseball quipster, basically. He this is very emblematic of a Yogi Berra quote. He said, "It's deja vu all over again." There we go. And many Yogi Berra quotes were sort of almost redundant in that way, where he would deja vu in itself already contains the implication of something happening again. Anyway, so, and that one's clever in that this, again, it's sort of related to the theme itself, whereas I don't think thing necessarily is. Thing intrinsically doesn't necessarily reference the theme, I don't think. But anyway, we'll keep an eye on it. So that gave us a huge boost there, for those of us familiar with that quotation. Okay. Donut somewhat to an eclair. A long john, maybe? I don't think I know that, but is just trying to think of a phrase beginning with long that would then have a J in the second word. Supervise could be oversee. Sixth of five. Sixth of five. What is that? Be on the bottom. Be on the bottom. Spice up. Enliven. A discussion, say. Canadian observance, also called Fête du Travail. So, party of work or work day, Labor Day? There we go. Yes. I translated that in my overly literal way. Composer Bernstein, who is unrelated to Leonard Elmer Bernstein. Yes, indeed, unrelated to Leonard Bernstein, the iconic American composer and conductor. Elmer Bernstein, though, also a great composer. I think Elmer Bernstein composed the film. He composed many film soundtracks. I think he may have been the film composer who composed the soundtrack to the Alexander McKendrick film, The Sweet Smell of Success, which is one of the all-time great films about power and sort of insular communities and things. It takes place in the world of New York City showbiz, and it's just an absolutely incredible film. And the soundtrack is great. It has sort of two soundtracks. It has a kind of film soundtrack, and then it has a jazz soundtrack created by a jazz band that is also sort of characters in the film. Anyway. Okay, not worth arguing about. Oh, it's a moot point, not worth arguing about. Goldman, who crusaded for birth control access. Emma Goldman, right? And late singer Naomi Judd. Did I know she was late? I don't know that I knew that. Term to drop in a serious relationship informally. The L-bomb, I suppose. The word love, I guess. And a barbecue order could be ribs. You could order barbecue ribs. And tiny amounts are iotas. We learned all about that phrase over the course of a few days, thanks to some listener comments. Reader comments. Viewer comments. There we go. Found it eventually. In a fight could be at it. We're really in a fight. We're really at it. Oh, a political... Oh, interesting. I was going to say fiefdom, political unit of ancient Hawaii, but no. Also, that wouldn't really be specific to Hawaii, would it? Let's keep looking. Lay it on thick. Blank palm, tropical tree. Oh, is it the sago palm, or am I misremembering what that is? Home to the Dole Plantation. Oh, well, that is in Hawaii. Is it Oahu? Which is one of the islands of Hawaii. Lay it on thick. Oh, to coat something in paint, say. Lay it on thick. And pledge is an oath. Why didn't I think of that before? Okay, no, not sago. That's something else totally unrelated. Sago, whatever, different plant. Something palm, tropical tree. Oh, a chiefdom. A chiefdom would be a political unit of ancient Hawaii. Of course, I probably could have guessed that earlier, but I didn't. So cocoa palm is the tropical tree. So look at that. We've got the cocoa palm, Oahu on the Dole Plantation, the chieftain, political unit of ancient Hawaii. I wonder if this was, because the chiefdom, certainly ancient Hawaii was not the only polity that would have included that as a political unit, so it might have been chosen to sort of fit the theme that's going on over here, the sort of mini theme, this little cluster of clues. Okay, let's see, slowly makes its way through. Osmosis, maybe? Kind of moves through a permeable barrier. Web portal with a Bing search bar, MSN, the Microsoft network. Bing being the Microsoft search engine. Ambulance Pro would be an EMT, an emergency medical technician. Oh, I don't think we've seen this yet. With 87 across, I've been around the block a few times, referencing 23 across. Well, 23 across is rodeo, so this is very clearly, this isn't my first rodeo. All right, so this theme really is it really does help us move through the puzzle quickly, unlike some themes, which are themselves sort of something to be solved. This is almost that the puzzle is solving itself in a way. To state fiction as fact is to lie, I suppose, and prefix with medicine, telemedicine, so medicine conducted remotely using technology. Okay, monocle dropping exclamation. I say, you might say, while dropping your monocle. Yoga pose is an asana. There's the sort of pose I was trying to think of, a pose as a noun rather than a verb. Okay, this donut similar to an eclair does look like Long John. Eclair, from the French for lightning, I think. Is that right? I think it is. Fun functions. Fun functions. I assume functions means parties, but it probably has an S on the end, one way or another. 6th of 5. Sorry, this is probably very obvious. I'm sure some of you are yelling at me about this, but I don't see it. Blank tripping, Nikki Giovanni poem. Is it ego tripping? Oh, shindigs. Okay, so the fun functions are indeed parties. Okay, there we go. To be on the bottom, be on the bottom. And covering atop. So be, oh, I see. Just to be on one's bottom is to be sitting down. Okay, fair enough. So the 6th of 5, no wonder I didn't get this. This is referring to the 6th sense. In other words, the 5 are the 5 senses, and the 6th is the additional one, ESP, extrasensory perception, as referenced, I guess, in the film, The Sixth Sense. Okay, home country of the poet Adonis. Oh, Syria. Sorry, I read that as home county for some reason. I was thinking, how on earth are we meant to know home county? But no, home country. I don't know. Maybe if I said it correctly, I read it. I still, in my brain, read it incorrectly for some reason. Mouth-watering saliva? There's a question mark indicating a bit of sort of cuteness going on here. Currency of Qatar is... Why don't I recognize this? Relish. To relish something is to savor it. Royale? Not sure which it is, to be honest with you. Goodness me. Let's solve these. We have all these crosses here. Parkway. Parkway. A trail, as in a national park or a wilderness park or something like that. A trail would be a way along the park. Was given no other option. I was given no other option. I had to solve this crossword today. There's no other option. I must solve this crossword today. Persuaded, and what is this? Rocks, CJ, or DDO, members of the band The Ramones, all of whom invented names in the fictional Ramone family. 18 plus, say, is the adult age. And, oh, I see, you persuaded someone, you sold them on it. And I don't think we've seen this yet. No, a whole bunch is a lot. Very straightforward enough. Starting position, maybe, an intern, maybe a starting position in a profession. You start as an intern. Fiber made from cellulose. I don't know. Sport played on a fronton. Is it highlight? Is that the name of the sort of pitch or whatever on which you play highlight? I'm not sure. It must be. Okay, it's illegal for employees to prohibit workers from discussing this pay. That is true in the United States anyway. I know that's a regulation that exists. Called, probably many other countries as well. I just happen to know that about the US because I was looking it up because of a company that was trying to discourage it. Anyway. If something was called to mind, it was evoked. To talk at length. And danger. Well, danger is peril. Goodness me. And what was this again? Talk at length. Oh, run on, maybe? So rayon. Rayon was going to be my guess about the fiber made from cellulose, but I wasn't really sure, so I didn't bother saying it because it was just sort of a random guess. It wasn't because I actually knew fiber was made from cellulose. It was just because I know rayon is a fiber, and it would have fit. But it wasn't based on detailed knowledge. Chemical ingredient in flubber. I don't know. This is the sort of bouncy, stretchy toy, I guess. I don't know. Sunblock. A visor could be a sunblock. One whose work goes over your head. I don't think we saw this clue. An aviator. Someone who flies above you. Also the name of another great film, The Aviator, this Martin Scorsese film. Package in Santa's sleigh would be a toy, of course. Sojourner Truth or Francis Harper. Orator. So here's I do like to remind people of this because it can easily trip you up. It was fine here because we already had the last letter of the word, but when you see two words or phrases or names in a clue connected by an or, it looks like it's maybe a plural clue because we're listing two things, and so you might think, oh, put an S in the end because it's plural. But since it says or, we're only referring to one of them. We're only referring to Sojourner Truth or Francis Harper, either one of whom is an individual orator. So that's why it's just one orator instead of two or more orators. So just keep a lookout for that with that or. Did some secretarial work, typed maybe? Doc who performs pap smears, a gynecologist, a gyno. If something is swift, it is rapid, speedy. A goddaughter often is a niece, I suppose. Aunt or uncle might be named a godparent. Molecular messenger is RNA, ribonucleic acid. And it therefore follows that, etc., and so, etc. Former name for the NBA's Thunder informally. The Sonics, I suppose. Is that the Supersonics? Is that the same former team? That probably former Seattle Supersonics, of whom I know because I did spend about 2 years or so living in Seattle. Okay, but anyway, no longer that team. High-minded sort, question mark. High-minded sort, a stoner, someone who is literally high, and the question mark indicates that we're treating this as a bit of a pun or wordplay. Guileful could be sly. You could use your guiles, your wits. To deteriorate is to rot. Gave officially. We'll see what that is. That maybe could be a couple of different things, but we'll see. Composer Luigi, who pioneered noise music. How interesting. I don't know. I mean, Giomolo, it's a plot. Just trying to think of a name that would fit the number and letters in question. If one lazes around one, loafs, okay, well, it wasn't that. Chemical ingredient in flubber, is it borax? And on the basis of sex, 2018 legal drama, yes. I haven't seen that, but I remember seeing ads for it. Was it about Ruth Bader Ginsburg, maybe? Anyway, borax, and goodness me, I'll be the real, currency of Qatar, real. Okay, that does sound right now that I see it. Of course, it didn't do me much good until it was done. Land divided at the 38th parallel, Korea, North and South Korea, divided by the 38th parallel, famously. And team building. Team building. Oh, a building for teams, an arena for sports teams. I see. Okay, valuable to collectors, say. Well, something rare would be, something valuable to collectors would probably intrinsically be rare, although not necessarily the other way around. Okay, composer Luigi who pioneered noise music. Well, I'm not going to know this until I get the crosses, I suppose. Rossolo, though? I mean, I'm just trying to think of, again, plausible names. Be an agent for somebody is to represent them, to rep them. Blank and including, up to and including. Blank particle. I'm not sure. Sleep inducer. Fatigue, although that's a little bit obvious. What would it be? Don't know. Crop that might be insect resistant. In brief. A GMO, maybe a genetically modified organism. So it might have been modified to be insect resistant, perhaps. And the in brief indicates it's an abbreviation. Yep, you got me. Good one? No. Story of one's life, a memoir. Danish city where Hans Christian Andersen was born. Oh, I don't know. I've been watching the Danish political drama Borgen recently, which I'd never seen. But I don't think the Danish city of Hans Christian Andersen's birth has been mentioned in it, so that my recently accrued Danish political knowledge is not helping me out on this clue. If something came next, it ensued. And yep, you got me. I don't know. Material for some drums. Instrument for Orpheus would be a lyre. That's something at least. Odette, Danish city where Hans Christian Andersen was born. I don't know. Elusive, no, probably Odense or something like that. I actually think I've seen this city before, but anyway, sorry. Elusive giants. A Yetis, maybe? Crenshaw or Casaba, melon. Yes, I think it is going to be Odense, actually. Debut album by Britney Spears, referencing 82 Across. Oh, interesting. Boy, if I ever knew that, it's not knowledge has long since departed my brain. What about, what was this? The last thing a Mississippi cheerleader wants, an I. Give me an M, give me an I, etc., all the way up to give me a final I. Okay, so crib sheet user. Crib sheet user. A test taker? Or what is it? Crib sheet, sort of hints and things? Is that what that is? Depress without. Santa Ana winds. It's a common meteorological phenomenon of the west coast of the United States. Comment with a shiver. Brr, maybe? I'm cold. Crib sheet user. Baby? That would be a plausible word in a Britney Spears album name, maybe, because she had a song that had the word baby in the title, Hit Me Baby One More Time. Is the album maybe name related to that, perhaps? I just don't know. I suppose baby has to fit. If baby is the answer to 82 Across, it has to fit either here or here, because those are the only 4-letter spaces available. Let's keep solving, though. Consolidated as in for easier reading as a Twitter thread. Oh, I actually only saw this recently. Unrolled, I think, is the terminology for that. That's sort of fairly obscure reference, I would say. Depress without. Oh, to bum out, to make someone sad or depressed. Like some arts are martial arts. Black Lives Matter co-founder. Oh, I know I've seen this name, but I can't bring it to mind. Cholesterol-lowering drug. I'm sure I've seen this as well, to be honest, but I also can't think of... Oh, Lipitor. Yes, I strangely did manage to dig that out of the memory bank somehow. Algonquin people... I wish I had at least one more cross, then I could probably get it. Beginning could be the onset of something. That makes 2 of us. Me too, perhaps? Tread plus riser. What is that plus doing there? That's interesting. Tread plus riser as opposed to the word and. I'm just wondering what that means in particular. Online forum VIPs. Oh. I would have thought this would have been mods, but then me too would be incorrect. That makes 2 of us. Maybe I'll delete that for now. Still having a shot at winning is in it. The Thin Man Dog has asked us, speaking of great films, highly recommend the film The Thin Man. It's just an absolutely great funny kind of detective story. It's just incredibly charming and very modern for its time. In a number of ways, actually. Anyway, the dog Asta is a cute dog who appears in the film. That makes two of us. And tread plus riser, a stair. Oh, a stair, I suppose. Why is it plus? I suppose to indicate that it's a combined unit as opposed to just referring to a tread and a riser. Okay, fair enough. We look at this. Oh, we did look at this, and this was that what I thought was me too. But not. Online forum. So if this were D for mods, Algonquin people. Oh, Miami. Oh, ditto. That makes two of us. Ditto. There we go. Okay. No, this isn't obviously filling in for me. What about this? Sleep inducer. Now, why don't I see this either? Is it a medicine or a substance or a habit? Black Lives Matter co-founder. Oh, I think this is an O. Is it opiate? Yes, so it is a substance in this case. So an opiate could induce sleep. Yeah. Is an opiate a downer? Is that the category of drug that's considered to be? Okay, marks down, maybe. Relabels, as in a price tag, for instance. Okay. Oh, right. Debut album by Britney Spears. So this is probably the baby part, right? Boy, I'm just not remembering what this is. Well, I guess I may not have ever actually known the album name. I just would have assumed it would have been in the air at a time when I would have been more aware of what was going on in pop music. Share on Tumblr, say, repost? Maybe the baby isn't here. Oh, no, maybe it is. Reblog. Okay. And blank Al Ghul, on and off lover of Batman. Not sure about that. French pronoun could be elle, which would be meaning she. One with a nose for news. So obviously this sounds like a nose for news, meaning a news hound, someone who has a nose for current events, but it's actually spelled as the animal. So what does that mean? A lion who would hunt anew. There we go. Very clever. This looks like the name Talia Al Ghul, I guess. And becomes less taut is sags. That makes sense. Itches, yens. Yes, I have a yen to finish off this crossword and itch to finish it off. So what is this? Oh, right. This is a tau particle. That's a thing, isn't it? Fennel-like flavoring would be anise, sort of licorice flavor. Word implied in I haven't the foggiest. I haven't the foggiest idea. The idea goes unstated, but is implied. Far from friendly. That's a that's an idiom that just wouldn't make the slightest sense to somebody who doesn't already understand it in English. Because without idea, saying I haven't the foggiest doesn't really mean anything about that. Never really thought about that before. Anyway, far from friendly. Rude or curt or icy or I'm not sure. Rest on one's laurels is the most obvious conclusion to this, but that obviously doesn't fit. Rest on one's hands, rest on one's, not sure. Probably ends with an S though. Seemingly forever, yes it does. Eons would be seemingly forever, a very long time. Far from friendly, oh mean. Okay, there we go. The simpler version of that than I was trying to imagine. A pan might come with just one star. A negative review could be a pan. A film could be panned, and it's a 1-star review. Rest on one's oars. So different meaning than rest on one's laurels, I suppose. Rest on one's laurels means bask in success and be carried by your previous accomplishments, whereas rest on one's oars, I guess, would be to shirk work for a time. Oh, it is Baby One More Time. It was just sort of part of that song title. Oh well. Probably could have gotten that one earlier, but I didn't. No worries. You can learn from anyone, even your enemy. Ovid. That's fair enough. Broadway composer Jewel Stein? Looks plausible. Gave officially, issued to. Yes, okay. I have officially given you this crossword solve. I have issued it to you. There we go. Consider it issued. So we had a sort of self-solving crossword. Very helpful, actually, in solving, in just sort of speeding up the solve a little bit. We had thing and another thing. We had déjà vu and it's déjà vu all over again. We had rodeo and this isn't my first rodeo. Baby and baby one more time, the most elusive for some reason for me of these. And I think that was it. Clever idea from Will Nediger, and honestly have to say appreciated it as a Sunday theme, because these Sunday puzzles are so enormous that I will take any sort of mechanic or tool I can get to make it solve a little bit faster. And not too challenging of a puzzle overall, I would say. Maybe a little. Yeah, I had some stumbling solves maybe over the last couple days, and this one was pretty smooth by comparison. So that was nice, and a theme that made it just a little bit smoother. So I appreciated that. Hope you enjoyed it as well. Now I'm going to move on to the clues from yesterday's puzzle, because as I recall, there was an absolute deluge of them. So I'd like to get through them efficiently if possible. Any prophet points out regarding tears. So there was a clue phrased wrapping weights, and the answer was tears. And I understood it had something to do with weight because of what tear means with respect to weight, but I couldn't get away from the idea of wrapping as a verb. No, it means the weight of the wrapping. And as any prophet points out, the tear of an item is the weight of its container or wrapping. Yes, indeed. Here's a case where I understand the clue, but I couldn't, or rather I understood the answer, but I couldn't understand the clue. I kept thinking it meant wrapping weights with something. I don't know what I was thinking. Anyway, yes, the tear of an item, as any prophet says, is the weight of its container or wrapping, which is why on a scale, the tear button is used to sort of zero out the weight of the container. Okay, Sam, aka Frisco17, points out a clue that I don't think we read the clue. Annie, A-N-I, a glossy black long-tailed bird of the cuckoo family with a large deep bill found in Central and South America. So thank you for that. I don't remember noticing that in the puzzle. And Laura Sexton says, in my opinion, Annie is crosswordese for blackbird. Perhaps it has not been used as much lately, but when I was first doing crosswords in the 60s, it was fairly common. That's good to know. That is not a piece of crosswordese with which I'm as familiar. So it may be the case, as you suspect, that it has somewhat tailed off in popularity in the crossword. I don't know why that would have happened, because it does seem like a very useful collection of letters. And we certainly have plenty of other crosswordese birds like turn and earn. But anyway, that's good to know. James Dickey and Victoria Rajishka both clued me into the Porky, the dog breed, being a Yorkshire Terrier and Pomeranian crossbreed. James Dickey says it's one of those designer dogs that people carry around in their purse. And Victoria Rajishka says Porkies are usually small, since Yorkshire Terriers and Pomeranians are notorious victims of selective breeding, explaining the lapdog cluing. So thank you very much to both of you for that. I wasn't familiar with that breed, although I've probably seen them. I wouldn't have known the name. Heather Whaley explains Mame was a Broadway musical and then made into 2 movies, one with Lucille Ball as Mame and Rosalind Russell as Auntie Mame. Both excellent movies. B. Arthur played her sidekick. So thank you for that. And apparently based on a book named Auntie Mame. So I was sort of familiar with Auntie Mame as a character existing, and I think I must have seen movie posters and things, but I've not seen the musical or either film, so I wasn't very familiar with it. So thank you, Heather, for that. Thor Christensen explains Elton Brand is the general manager for the Philadelphia 76ers. He is also a former player, having played for 5 different teams over the course of his 17-year career, including the 76ers themselves from 2018 to 2012, and briefly again in 2016. So that I didn't know one bit of. So thank you. Thank you, Thor, for that explanation about Elton Brand. And speaking of sports and my own ignorance regarding sports, the F and Crow explains, since you knew the concept but not what they are, the clue about seeds for the NCAA is about tournament seeding. Teams get a ranking, the seed, to determine which slot in the tournament bracket they get, with higher seeds being better because they face lower seeded and thus arguably easier opponents. And there we have it. I think that was actually it. So we got through those clues relatively rapidly. And thank you for joining me for today's large Sunday grid. I hope you enjoyed it. I did. That was a nice breezy Sunday crossword. Well, as breezy as Sundays get. That was still a half an hour long solve. But anyway, I do hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you'll be back tomorrow for the Monday puzzle, a much quicker solve with a much smaller grid. So look forward to that. But until then, please do have an excellent remainder of your Sunday. Take care.